Guess what? It is day 29 of my 30 days of thankfulness. And I am thankful for restoration. Before the pandemic started, I was already in a not good place. And I had been able to kind of begin to rebuild. But when the pandemic happened or started, everything I had built or learned, it had to be rebuilt and relearned because the methodology had changed. And I said, oh no, how am I going to do this? But I did have 2.5 years in quarantine to learn how to rebuild. And I'm glad I took the time to do that. I learned some great things, not just about a task or a process, but about myself. I really did. I was like, oh my goodness. And I know in these 30 days of thankfulness, they seem pretty basic and pretty simple, but I have to tell you, those are some serious foundational principles. And when you are sad all the time, or depressed, anxious, or you're overwhelmed and you cannot understand how to begin, it can be very depressing. And it feels like the older you get, the worse it gets, because you feel like you should be somewhere much further along. And I probably would have been a little further along if it hadn't been for the 2.5 years. But then I began to realize, would I have had that time to really value the key principles of the basics that I've been sharing. Yeah, we all have skills and gifts and talents and things, but when you have to shift and change and move and shuffle and all those things, how you've been using them is not as useful. But when you are pressed into a situation, you don't have a choice. You have to learn other ways to use them. And that can be very daunting, especially when all you want to do is use them the way that they had worked for you in the past. And that was my experience, how things worked for me in the past.